Hello everyone, welcome back to TechBlog 66, and today we are diving into one of the most influential films ever made, Battleship Potemkin, released in 1925 and directed by the legendary Sergei Eisenstein. This is not just a movie review, it is a journey into cinema history and a film that changed the way movies are made, watched and understood. Even if you are not usually a fan of silent films, this one deserves your attention because its impact is still felt in modern cinema today. Battleship Potemkin is a Soviet silent film based on real events that took place during the Russian Revolution of 1905. It tells the story of a mutiny aboard the battleship Potemkin, where sailors rebel against cruel officers after being forced to eat rotten meat. This simple conflict grows into a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression and injustice. The film does not focus on a single hero, instead it highlights the collective strength of ordinary people, which was a revolutionary idea at the time. From the very beginning, Battleship Potemkin makes it clear that this is not a conventional story. The film is divided into 5 distinct acts, each representing a different phase of the uprising and its consequences. This structure helps the audience understand the emotional and political journey without relying on dialogue or spoken words. Eisenstein uses visual storytelling in such a strong way that even after a century the message remains clear and powerful. The opening sequences show sailors living under harsh conditions. The officers are shown as arrogant and detached while the sailors suffer silently. The famous scene involving the maggot-infested meat is disturbing yet effective. It symbolizes the decay of authority and the lack of humanity shown by those in power. When the sailors are told to eat the meat or face punishment, tension builds slowly but steadily. Eisenstein uses close-ups and sharp editing to make the audience feel the anger and fear brewing among the crew. This leads to the moment of mutiny, which is portrayed not as chaotic violence but as a desperate act of survival and dignity. One of the most remarkable aspects of Battleship Potemkin is its editing technique known as montage. Eisenstein believed that meaning in cinema comes from the collision of images rather than individual shots. This idea is demonstrated brilliantly throughout the film. Short fast cuts create emotional impact and guide the viewer's reaction without the need for words. The editing is rhythmic, almost musical, and it pulls you into the story in a way that feels surprisingly modern. The most famous example of this technique is the Odessa step sequence. This scene alone has been studied, analyzed and referenced countless times in film schools and movies around the world. In this sequence, citizens of Odessa gather to support the rebellious sailors. The mood is hopeful at first but quickly turns tragic when soldiers march down the steps firing at innocent civilians. The scene is heartbreaking and intense, showing men, women and children caught in senseless violence. Eisenstein uses repetition, close-ups and dramatic angles to heighten the emotional effect. The image of the baby carriage rolling down the steps is one of the most iconic moments in cinema history. It represents innocence destroyed by brutal authority, and it stays with the viewer long after the film ends. What makes this scene even more powerful is that it feels real and universal. Even without dialogue, the fear, panic and helplessness are clearly communicated. This is the genius of Eisenstein's direction, that he understood human emotion and how to express it visually. The soldiers are shown as faceless machines while the civilians are individuals, each with their own pain and fear. This contrast strengthens the film's political message without turning it into a simple propaganda piece. Visually, Battleship Potemkin is striking. The use of light-shadow composition and camera angles adds depth to every frame. Even though the film is black and white, it feels alive with texture and movement. The close-ups of faces are especially effective, showing raw human emotion in a way that feels intimate and honest. The wide shots on the ship and the steps create a sense of scale, reminding us that these personal struggles are part of a larger social conflict. The performances in the film deserve special mention. Most of the actors were not professionals, but their expressions and body language feel authentic. This adds to the realism of the story. The sailors look genuinely tired, angry and determined, while the civilians appear truly frightened during the massacre scenes. This natural style of acting helps the audience connect emotionally even though there is no spoken dialogue. Music also plays an important role when watching Battleship Potemkin. Although it is a silent film, it is usually accompanied by a score that enhances the emotional tone. The music rises during moments of tension and softens during reflective scenes, helping guide the viewer's feelings. This combination of image and sound, even if added later, makes the experience immersive and powerful. It is recommended to watch the film with a good musical accompaniment to fully appreciate its impact. the historical importance of Battleship Potemkin cannot be overstated.It was banned in several countries due to its revolutionary message, yet it continued to influence filmmakers worldwide, directors like Alfred Hitchcock, Orson Welles, and later modern filmmakers have acknowledged its impact. The techniques Eisenstein developed are still taught and used today. This film proved that cinema could be more than entertainment, it could be a tool for expression, emotion and social commentary. However, Battleship Potemkin is not without criticism. Some viewers may find its political message heavy or one-sided.It was created during a time when Soviet cinema was closely linked to state ideology. This context is important to understand, but even if you set aside the political aspect, the film stands strong as a piece of art and innovation. Its emotional power, technical brilliance and storytelling skill go far beyond propaganda.It speaks about universal themes like injustice, solidarity and the struggle for dignity. These themes remain relevant even today. Watching Battleship Potemkin in the modern era is a different experience compared to when it was first released. Today audiences are used to fast-paced, dialogue-driven films with advanced effects, yet this silent black and white film from 1925 still manages to grip attention if given a chance.It requires patience and an open mind, but the reward is a deeper appreciation of cinema as an art form.It reminds us that strong visuals and editing can communicate ideas just as effectively as words. For viewers interested in film history, Battleship Potemkin is essential viewing.It is like reading a foundational book in literature. You may not agree with everything, but you will understand where many ideas came from. For casual viewers it might feel challenging at first, but once the story and style click it becomes a memorable experience. This is a film that stays with you not because of flashy effects but because of its emotional honesty and artistic courage.In conclusion, Battleship Potemkin is more than just an old silent movie.It is a landmark in cinema history, a bold experiment in storytelling and a powerful reflection on human struggle and collective action. Its influence can still be seen in modern films and its most famous scenes continue to inspire filmmakers around the world. Whether you watch it for education, inspiration or pure curiosity, it is a film worth your time. That if you enjoy classic cinema or want to understand how movies evolved, this is a must-watch. Thank you for watching this review on TechBlog 66, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into film history, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more classic movie content. This movie is available on YouTube free.